The most humbling part of my job is serving as Commander-in-Chief to the world's finest military. And there's nothing I take more seriously than my responsibility to those who sacrifice their own safety to defend ours. That's why Michelle and I have made supporting veterans and military families a top priority from the start.
Well, as you can see, the president's #1 priority is veteran care. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but President Obama back in 2007 was on the Senate Veterans Affairs Committee, and he still is.
You mean the specific allegations that I think were reported first by your network out of Phoenix? I believe we learned about them through the reports. That's when we learned about them, and that's when, as I understand, Secretary Shinseki learned about them.
Now, I find it hard to believe that Jay Carney says the president just now found out about this when it came out on the news.
Hey, sir, you can't come on property.
Okay, we're just gonna get our vehicle then. We'll leave.
What's that?
So we'll get our vehicle and leave then. We were just trying to,
Just stay off the property from me.
I can't get my car?
This has been a fiasco with media. We have so much media. Sir, they are with InfoWars magazine, talk show.
We're doing a report, that's why we're kind of saying, hey, but we're doing stuff on veteran suicides and how people think that they could help kind of fix it, that's all.
Okay, yeah, but any media can't be done on property. Let me get your information if you don't mind, sir.
I just got kicked off the VA in Austin Center by police. And all I said I was going to do was interview a few veterans walking through the parking lot and ask them a few questions about suicide awareness with veterans. And they said I couldn't be there on property because of the scandal going on right now. Now, this says a lot about our government. Instead of fixing the problem, they'd rather just sweep it under the mat and forget all about it. Today, I interviewed 2 soldiers who gave me their accounts of mistreatment at VA clinics. You said while you were in the service, you were, drugged quite a bit by the military, excessive amounts of painkillers. It would get you, over time. You would be addicted to things like that. Give me a little background on that and what you experienced with the mass drugging.
The mass drugging, one of my duty stations after Fort Campbell, pretty much, you're in pain, they wrote your prescription. You're freaking going cuckoo, or say you're feeling this way, they wrote your prescription. It pretty much was just like, we'll write your prescription for this, we'll write your prescription for that. And there's people that I know that will attest that I was pretty much in a zombie-like state. They sent me to therapy when I was in Colorado. But the therapy they sent me to there was a civilian-run contractor, and at the civilian-run facility, they pretty much drugged me even more and more and more. So that necessarily wasn't the military's fault. That was just another facility's fault. When I got out of the Army, my friends can attest for this, I was a train wreck. I literally was a train wreck, a zombie, hated life, hated everything, didn't know what I was going to do, and it was just awful.
You thought people were kind of coming after you for a bit of time there, though, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, I did. It's normal with PTSD to have some paranoia, which I still suffer with right now. But the amount of paranoia I was having at the time when I first got out was ridiculous. I had friends stop talking to me because they thought that I was going nuts.
The problem was that the medication doctors there, they were all about some pills. Just here, take this. It'll maybe make you feel better. Or it was nothing but side effects all the time. It drove me to do nothing but want to drink and pack on a bunch of weight and everything else. Just because all the side effects one had over the other.
What kind of pills did they give you? Did they give you antidepressants, pain pills, things like that?
When I first got out, they were giving me tranquilizer. Just sedatives, basically. It's supposed to make you happier, but in essence, for a lot of us, it just kind of seems like it makes you more depressed. You weren't even seeing like real doctors. It took me, I think, 4 months before I actually seen an actual psychologist and a counselor to help me with some of the crap I was dealing with. And I got tired of it, and I ended up moving from Florida to Texas. So, and San Antonio really isn't any better. I ended up going there for, I didn't know I had type 2 diabetes. And I ended up going there with a blood sugar of like 890 something.
So the VA in Gainesville never even called on to the fact that you had diabetes and you've gone an extended amount of time without even getting that taken care of?
Yeah. They told me, you were like a soda pop away from a coma.
That's a prime example. You could have been on a secret list like the one in Phoenix, Arizona. That's scary to know that these guys could have known or did know and decided just to kind of let that slide and just, whatever, sort itself out over time. Over the past 3 days, I've had the opportunity to speak with 4 separate whistleblowers that worked at VA clinics across the nation. Now, they all had something interesting to add.
Made statements, racial slurs against veterans, have made statements that, older veterans, they should just be taken outside and shot in the head because they're worthless. And this person still works there.
One of the biggest issues with the VA care is the fact that we all know there's a rise in suicides and anxiety and depression. And instead of actually treating the underlying issues through new technologies, they just hand out pills. And they hand out so much medication at the VA that at the VA, pills have become a currency. And veterans get arrested or they get detained because it's federal property because they're just handed out these pills. I mean, I have a back problem. I could go to the VA right now and probably get a 3-month supply of Vicodin. In the private industry, that won't happen. And I really believe that they rely on veterans being addicted because they go to what's called the addiction clinic, where they receive funding per head.
Is there a reason that a lot of these VA clinics, and I don't know if this trickles to you at all, but I keep getting reports from a lot of the veterans saying that when they go in and they have problems, they're being asked if they have weapons, how much ammo they have, and where they store them at. Now, is that something that is a across the board type question?
Not specifically whether they have weapons in the house, that sort of thing. But, not to open up another can of worms, but, there's been issues in the past where if a doctor feels that a veteran is rated incompetent, without that due process, we would send them a letter basically saying that, you're not allowed to own weapons or, it's against the Brady Bill or the Brady Law.
You have a lot of people that are coming out of the military that have the ability and the knowledge to build IEDs and to defeat law enforcement techniques.
Mainstream media is not going to do their job covering this story whatsoever. So it's our job here at InfoWars to get the story out. If you have any tips or anything like that, please email them to vets@infowars.com. And don't forget, our oath to the Constitution has no expiration date.
The facts are in. The studies are legion. Sodium fluoride and other toxic members of the fluoride family are devastating the health and cognitive ability of the American people. So why are the social engineers adding it to the water? Simple. Dumb down the host population that the parasitic technocracy is feeding on. We may not have been able to get fluoride out of the water supply yet, but we can help to get it out of our bodies. I am extremely excited to announce the exclusive InfoWars Life Fluoride Shield formulation, fusing 6 of the best documented ingredients from around the world to help the body remove not just toxic fluoride residues from the body, but a whole host of toxic substances. Let's take a stand against the globalist by blocking their poisons with Fluoride Shield. I use Fluoride Shield every day. Secure your Fluoride Shield and other pioneering formulations at InfoWarsLife.com today. Let's start cleansing our bodies now and support the InfoWar at the same time. That's InfoWarsLife.com.